Hey everyone, I'm McDowell here. Happy Halloween to everyone. Happy Halloween to all the little kids out there, all the teenagers, all the parents out there. Hope you all have a very good, safe, and happy Halloween. Because it's been a real trip for the last couple of years, and we just want to have at least one good Halloween for all the kids out there. Scare them, love them. Give them some candy if they deserve it. Kids, don't be going stealing no one's candy. You make sure that when you go trick or treating, you go with your go with your parents. Parents, make sure you go with your kids. You make sure to keep them safe. Always check your candy. Don't go with any adults you don't know. Teenagers, yeah, I know what you guys do when you go to the Halloweens. You don't always go trick or treating all the time. So if you're going to party responsibly, okay? Make sure you check your candy, check your punch, and all that, and be safe. So, and we all know what Halloween mostly is good for everyone, at least the commercial side of it. We know you go to the house, you get some candy, you go home, you check it to make sure it's got no razor blades, no arsenic or anything like that. Like I said, make sure you check your candy. You don't go alone with anyone you don't know, and just be safe when doing trick or treating. And of course, what was actually your favorite Halloween? I mean, we all been trick or treating probably for over a century, but we really don't know exactly by history how it all started with trick or treating. Now, anyone who is actually a good historian know exactly where and when it all started. It started with the Celts, and they basically had their own tradition about All Hallows Eve. That's how Halloween actually became. But the thing is, the date itself have changed over the years. Believe it or not, it was actually sometime in November. Like I think it was like November 1st was originally Halloween. Then it was pushed back to October 31st. So the thing is that there's hopefully that throughout centuries of trick or treating. Now trick or treating came in when people go to house was looking for food to eat, and one of which was actually candy. And the one reason why I came to trick or treating, because if you go to the house, you knock on the door, ring the doorbell, you say trick or treat, and the thing is you're expecting something good to eat. Now, if you didn't ever get candy, then you was able to actually play a trick on them. Now, the thing is how they actually shifted from just for little pranks to almost vandalism, because if anyone actually know the old days of trick or treating is either that you give kids candy or they go and do some mischief around the whole house. So the thing is, that's kind of reason why a lot of people give kids candy instead of get them any attitude. But times has really changed. I mean, we really got to where it's become a little bit too commercialized. But the thing is, you gotta have fun at some point throughout the years, right? October all the way to November, October all the way to December is my favorite time of the year. And the thing is that I know you all probably went in your own different costumes when you were a kid, and you all know what my costume was for 11 years straight. Yeah. But as I got older, me and my friend, we used to go up to her grandmother's house, because when I used to trick or treat around my whole block and around my whole neighborhood. The problem was that people kind of lost the real spirit of Halloween and try to actually decorate and do all the hard work. So my girlfriend at the time is that we would go up to her grandmother's house in her neighborhood and start trick or treating there. Now, my original costume was always Batman. Then it went from Batman, Superman, Zorro. I mean, I tried real much to try to change it up when I was getting older. And of course, when I got become a teenager, I started doing like actual horror costumes. I basically did Scream, and I did Jason Voorhees. And the thing is that when you're not actually when you're doing costumes, you try to come up with a way how you can actually sell it. Because the thing is, if you don't got no money for a costume, you're trying to figure out what you can pick out from the horror movies. And the one thing is, when I went as Jason one year, of course you just had the regular hockey mask, and it glowed in the dark, so which was cool. And the thing was that what I would use, 'cause I couldn't find the coveralls because none would actually fit me because I was a little bit shorter than the coveralls for adults. So what I would take was be some old 30 pants that had holes in them, a very dirty coat that my dad used to wear, and a old T-shirt that was worn out too. And I would go in and put with a hockey mask and a wooden machete that had a little bit of blood on it, and just go as Jason Voorhees. I mean, it was just that easy. Just dirty up my hair a little bit. You got yourself a nice little Jason costume without really buying anything real expensive. Because I know that when you go to Halloween parties, the rental is to me is highway what robbery for renting out costumes. And the thing is, that's kind of reason why I say again that it's becoming too commercialized, where people are just basically taking on holidays in general just for a buck. But they gotta make money somehow. The thing is just try to make sure that when you go buy candy, buy decorations, that you're not really trying to get sold out very much, because people will take advantage of that and take your money. So the thing is, be sure you spend your money well. And when it comes to costumes, like I said, it's all about what you want to do. For kids, I just want to say this to the parents, that is up to you. How if you're got a kid who's I want to say under about 13 years old, under that, they want what they want to go as. Of course, it's okay to have fun with it, but the thing is, with things are going on nowadays, I said it's up to you if you want them to trick or treating. Don't listen to the media. Just think about what you want your kids to do. Like if I had I mean, I'm single now, but if I had, like I say, a 9-year-old daughter, I wouldn't let her go out as a sexy nurse. No way. If I had a son, I would save the Jason costume until he got older. So it would be like something real classy, like a Superman, Dracula kind of costume. Just your regular costumes like that. But if he was creative enough to actually make a costume his own, then that'd be great. Because one thing I've seen from the show Parenthood is that one kid who was suffering from Asperger's, believe it or not, actually dressed it like a cockroach, a big giant cockroach. And the thing is, kids got a real kids at a certain age, they got a real creativity to them, and that's what I say about when I did my Labor Day video. Is creativity. And the thing is, when you're constructing costume, you can't really afford the actual costume itself, and you're trying to construct it. Start by looking at certain heroes and horror flicks and stuff like that. Don't make it to where they're just say just a coffee pot. They gotta have some kind of identity to them. And the one thing that kids love to do, they love to dress up. That's why I say kids got a very good creative talent to them when they're younger. And that's the whole thing, that what Halloween and trick or treating is supposed to be. It's supposed to be fun, not politically correct. That's the reason why both me and the PC has really have basically took the fun out of everything, from Halloween to Thanksgiving to Christmas to New Year's to Valentine's Day to every single holiday in the United States. And the thing is, parents, it is totally up to you what you want to do with your kids. It's totally up to you. But the thing is, kids will be kids. Let them be kids. Let them go out and have fun. Just be with them. Check their candy. Make sure they know exactly what houses they're going to. The neighbors who actually do their houses. I mean, do your research to make sure that your neighbors are not like criminals or like that. I mean, just make sure you're the parents, you do your job, and make sure you know exactly your kids are going out there and they're having fun and being safe. That's all I encourage you. And like I said to the teenagers out there, hey, guys, I've been there. I've been to a couple of parties. I've been to some where they actually did they actually did drugs at those parties. So the thing is, I never did drugs in my life. I never hardly drank in my life at all. And the thing is that Halloween parties, yep, just like the prom, just like any kind of party like that out there. Yeah, don't get caught in those kind of parties. You want to have a party, that's fine, but do it responsibly. Do it under adult supervision and stuff like that. Does not mean make you say, well, we like to be rebellious. I'm going, yeah, and guess where rebellion is going to get you? It's going to get you right into a slammer. You really want to serve your last Halloween night in the slammer. I mean, that's the reason why the cops were there out there for, in case to make sure there's no actual predators out there or kids actually doing vandalism like that. So, guys, teenagers, I mean, trick or treating party, part be responsible, okay? You get if you all, I know some of you probably even out there got younger brothers and sisters. Make sure that they actually are out there doing being safe too. That's your responsibility too. Is also be a good big brother, big sister, and regardless of political correctness, that's is what your job is supposed to be. So let's say, for example, teenage girl. The one thing I always like the idea of nowadays, what's actually a good costume for a teenage girl, like Wonder Woman, Elsa. Trying to think what was actually a great costume back in my day. Believe it or not, was actually Tomb Raider. But the thing is that it kind of got a little bit too much by the late '90s because they were making her a little bit too sexy. So one girl that she had like the fake guns on her hip, but she had a longer shirt, so they wouldn't show all the stomach area. And she was about maybe 16 years old at the time. And the thing is, like teenagers, like I said, the thing is, just because you're getting close to adulthood does not mean you are an adult. You still got to be respectful to your parents when going out to parties, or even going out trick or treating with your siblings, and try to set a good example. So that's what I say to everyone out there. Make sure you have a safe Halloween, and that you basically go home, and maybe watch a scary movie. What was your favorite scary movie during Halloween time? I mean, if some of you didn't want to go trick or treating, what was your favorite scary movie? Of course, everyone's favorite number one scary movie of the all time lately it'd be Halloween itself from 1978. And a lot of people are going to probably be reviewing that during Halloween time, and then that's okay because before that you had all the classics such as like Dracula, Frankenstein, the Mummy, the Wolfman from all the way from the 30s, and then of course you had during the 1950s you had the B movies like the Invasion of the Body Snatcher, The Thing from Outer Space, or The Thing from 1983. And the thing is, Halloween to us has not only been about trick or treating, but it's also by watching horror movies. And the one thing, just for a little touching up on the horror movie genre, is that I don't watch a lot of horror movies because I could never get it. I mean, I know they're supposed to be suspenseful, and one horror movie I thought was actually quite good, regardless of the jump scares and the CGI, was probably the American version of the Ring. And of course, you know about the Ring. The Ring was originally a Japanese horror movie that was made, and about a year later, during the early 2000s. I was a very had a big crush on Sarah Michelle Gellar. So when the Ring came out, so yeah, you know, about 16 years old, I want to go see the Ring, but I didn't know that the thing is it was supposed to be suspenseful. But I didn't really feel much of the suspense. I mean, yeah, and then I seeing Sarah Michelle Gellar, her character came and going, what happened? But when I started seeing the classics, I'm seeing like Dracula, like Bill Lugosi's Dracula, and seeing Frankenstein. I'm going, oh yeah, those are really great movies to watch. And then my dad got me into the Hammer horror movies, just like the Christopher Lee Dracula. And you could really much tell that when it came to the 60s and in the 70s, it was all about exploitation. In the 70s you had drugs exploitation, black exploitation, sex exploitation. Even in the horror movie, there was blood exploitation because everything was so bright. I mean, you've seen it in both in Star Trek and the Batman series in the mid '60s, and then it kind of grew from there. So, and when it came to the horror movies, it kind of been a little bit more like I want to say like redundant because it was actually a big effect at the time. And one of the biggest, of course, two, I want to say three of the biggest horror movies at the time in the 1970s was Black Christmas, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and also Halloween. Probably the biggest ones that actually made a lot of money. Now, of course, there might have been some, like some would say that Jaws is a horror movie or a monster movie, and of course Steven Spielberg has been saying it many times that Jaws in 1975 was not a horror movie; it was an adventure movie. So that kind of cancel out and as a horror movie. And one thing that I never, and one thing is that I never seen the original thing from outer space. So when I first seen the thing, in that, I'm not going to spoil it, but when I seen it in 1982, seen the DVD version or maybe the tape version of the thing, 1982, I'm going like, whoa. I mean, this is far fetched. But as soon as I found out it was John Carpenter, I'm going like, yeah, this guy got some. Basically, he's a modern day Alfred Hitchcock. If anyone you know, Alfred Hitchcock was basically a very good English suspenseful, not really a horror director. He was a suspense director. He directed The Birds, Psycho, Vertical. I mean, you can name it almost every single suspenseful movie that came out during the '60s. That was him. And the thing is that some would say that Psycho was actually a good horror movie, but it was more about the suspense, less about the horror that goes on in the people's head. And the thing is that that's actually what, in my opinion, this is just my opinion. Of course, I know some will actually feel the same way, but in my opinion, when it comes to horror movie, it's always going to be the suspense, show but no do not tell, suspenseful. That's why for 50 years, almost for 40 50 years now since Halloween came out, that's probably been the most successful one in the 70s that was suspenseful and horror at the same time because, well, number one, I know a lot of people probably already have reviewed this by now of Halloween 1978. So I ain't gonna go too much and I'm not gonna go much in saying spoiler. If you've never seen Halloween 1978, go see it. But this is a spoiler warning, so deal with it. But the one thing is that the 1978, the one thing that it did not show much, it didn't show a lot of blood. Because I think because remember, this movie in 1978 was a big financial deal. It only had about $350,000 budget and made $70 million at the box office, which was a big deal back then. It was so under budget that it actually became a big hit and made his money back. See, that's one thing about when it comes to movies. Excuse me. And this is the same movie. This is the same year. You had Superman and Jaws 2 came out the same year. And the one thing is that Superman made over $200 million, and Jaws made maybe about 50. I want to say, don't quote me too much. I want to say about 50 million on a $20 million budget, maybe less. But the thing is that but Halloween though was a big deal in 1978. Oh, excuse me. The Exorcist in 1973 was also a big hit. But that also was one that actually had a lot of controversy, just like Halloween. And I want to tell you, when it comes to horror movies, watching them on Halloween, that's probably the best night you can actually get. And of course, when growing up as kids, the one movie we used to watch as kids was Charlie Brown. Is the Great Big Pumpkin. I mean, what kind of, you can't get no more classier or anything like that. I mean, we all grow up with. I mean, Charlie Brown's been around for almost 6 years now, And the thing is, we all grew up on all the classic Charlie Brown movies. So the thing is, a big shout out to anyone who actually watched the Charlie Brown movies, ones who actually went trick or treating with their families, party responsibly, and had a great time in trick or treating. So I want to read a scary monologue for you. I mean, I wish I had something more better for a Halloween special. So so excuse me. I'm going to read you a nice little horror monologue. To me, it's like a horror movie, but it's a very scary monologue. So here I go. Memories can be vile, repulsive, little Bruce, like children, I suppose. But can we live without them? Memories is what our reason's based upon. If we can't face them, we deny reason itself. But why not? We are contractually tied down to rationality. There is no sanity clause. So when you find yourself locked onto an unpleasant train of thought, heading for the places in your past when the screaming is unbearable, remember, there's always madness. Madness is the emergency exit. You can simply step outside and close the door to all those dreadful things that has happened. You can lock them away forever. Happy Halloween, everyone! Enjoy your night, and I'll see you next time on YouTube. This is Art McDowell signing off.